the essence of the problem. My thesis would be that there is now so much government debt in the world, it can never possibly be paid back. So the question is, for all of those governments, this includes the US, the UK, most of the EU, Japan, China, it's pretty much everybody, with the possible exception of some Gulf states and maybe one or two well-run Asian economies. But by and large, this is a global problem. If you accept that thesis, then there are only three possible options. Option one is that you try and engineer enough economic growth to keep the debt serviced. That's what Trump's trying to do. He may pull it off, but because he's also now apparently added another $4 trillion to an already unpayable $37 trillion of national debt, I think he's probably screwed the pooch on that one. The second option is that you default. Now, you won't call it a default. You'll call it something like a restructuring or a debt jubilee. But the bottom line is we live in a credit-based economy. If any major government defaults on its debt, that is Armageddon, because you've got 2008 to the power of 10. So let's park the default option. What does that leave? That leaves option number 3, which happily is the wrong word, coincidentally is also the option that every heavily indebted government throughout all of recorded history has resorted, which is inflation. You inflate it away. So people are massively missing the point when it comes to what inflation really is. Inflation is not, first and foremost, a rise in the price of goods and services. That's a second order effect. Inflation, first and foremost, like Milton Friedman says, is an increase in the money supply. Inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Or in the words of Ludwig von Mises, who's one of the most celebrated so-called Austrian school economists, inflation is not a disease or something like an act of God. Inflation is a policy. Inflation is being quite deliberately baked into the system because it's the only way these governments can pay their way now. In other words, they won't default on their debt. They'll just pay you back with devalued money. And that's been the case since the Federal Reserve was established in 1913. The purchasing power of the US dollar after the Fed was established was to try and protect the value of the dollar. It's one of its mandates. The purchasing power of the dollar has fallen by something like 98 or 99%. Good job, Fed.